How do you know if you are going through a spiritual awakening? Yes, things are feeling a little bit different. Keep on watching this video to find out. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the channel. I'm Chica, your conscious mentor, and on this channel we talk about all things spirituality, wellness, entrepreneurship, and social media for conscious souls like you. Today we're going to be deep diving into a very requested question that you guys have been asking me for quite a while, and I thought, with the shifts of so many things going on right now, especially the year that we have had, why not talk about how do you know if you're going through a spiritual awakening? What are the steps that happen when you're going through a spiritual awakening? I'm going to be sharing with you 8 simple things that you need to know about you having a spiritual awakening, signs, notices, changes, evolutions, whatever it is. There are big things happening for you, and there's a reason why you are going through this. We as conscious souls go through spiritual awakenings not once, not twice, but many times in our lifetime. And knowing what lessons we get from those awakenings is really going to allow us to expand to our highest and conscious self. So I would really suggest you watching this video. We're gonna go right deep into it. Before we get into the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, as well as put notification bells. I do videos every single day for you amazing, beautiful souls. And don't forget to join our Patreon so you can get more meditations, energy healing, and so much more down below. And today's subscriber of the day is Hitty 3000. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing conscious family. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you guys, and we are supporting 1 million souls in 2020 and so much more to help and create that consciousness. So thank you for being part of that amazing family. Let's get into the video. So first and foremost, what is a spiritual awakening? This is one thing that a lot of people always ask me questions on, and just a little heads up, get some snacks, get a drink, because whatever it is, a smoothie, epic smoothie right here that I'll be sipping throughout. But get a drink, relax, get some snacks, and we are going to be deep diving into spiritual awakening because this is super important as conscious souls. We are evolving every single day, and what a spiritual awakening is when a veil is removed from your eyes, when you start to see things from a different perspective. This usually happens when you have just gone through a traumatic experience, or maybe a divorce, midlife crisis, perhaps, finding out something about yourself and identity, coming out to your family, whatever it may be. These big major transitions are huge for a lot of people, and we don't notice what they are called. These are called spiritual awakenings. When those big shifts happen in our life, we as conscious and energy souls and energetic souls, we understand that these things can impact how we think, how we do, the way that we feel, so much more. So it's important for us to understand what are the stages of having a spiritual awakening and how will you experience that. So I'm going to go over the 4 stages of a spiritual awakening. So the first stage is after the veil is just taken off of your eyes and you're starting to see things a little bit differently. Maybe you start to notice that the relationship that you have had for over 10 years is actually a relationship that you fell out of love with. Maybe you start to notice that, the job, the career that you've been working on, or the studies or whatever you're studying right now at school is not aligned with you energetically, and you don't want to be in sciences anymore. You want to be, in the arts or start your own business. Maybe you start to notice that this country, the city or place that you're in is just not fulfilling you and you want to move to the other side of the world. Whatever these big changes are, I want you to just comment down below. What is a change that you've been just wanting to share? This is a safe space. I want you to be able to share this right now and claim it. Whatever feelings that you're feeling when I'm stating about this specific part is going to be so important as far as the next stages of the spiritual awakening and signs that your spiritual awakening is happening right now. Now, after having the veil removed, you're feeling relieved, you're feeling really good, but you're also feeling unhappy. You're feeling a little bit unhappy because the friends and family that you have had for years and known for years feel a little bit different. They might not necessarily feel like people that you resonate with. Maybe friends that you've been friends with for years just don't align with you. Maybe family is becoming a little bit of a tension subject for people to be around. This is a time where you're just feeling like everything is so different and no one understands you. I know. I've been through multiple spiritual awakenings, and this is the most frustrating part. It feels like no one understands you. You're going through all these things, and it's just so hard to explain your emotion. Number 2, the second part of the spiritual awakening process is shifting your thoughts. You start to kind of see life a little bit differently. Maybe you start to tap more into spirituality, start to practice law of attraction manifestation again, or just start it all in all. You might start to notice angel numbers and start to get curious. So you start to Google a lot of the angel numbers, which, by the way, I have a playlist on angel numbers and numerology. So go check that out. I will link it up here for you guys. But this is one of the biggest signs that you're going through an awakening too, such as the angel number 444, which is an awakening number, 111, which is the new beginnings, because let me tell you, the spiritual awakening is just going to create a new beginning to happen in your life as it is. But this specific part of the spiritual awakening is shifting our thoughts. You might be more gravitated to look into affirmations at this point. I would suggest you using them at this point. You might start to notice a little bit about your perspective. You might have different opinions. Maybe you start to speak up about that, start to journal, start to script out a lot. Here you're really shifting limiting beliefs, or maybe beliefs that you've learned over the past of your lifetime that have been taught to you, but now you're shifting it because this new veil has been awakened to you. You know, there's this new age. Maybe after the traumatic accident, you start to notice that it's not about the money. It's about the happiness that you have in your life. It's about the family and friends, because just in seconds, things can shift. Maybe the lesson that you got out of the relationship is that it's important for you to communicate that what love is to you, and what restrictions and boundaries need to be created in a relationship, and what is love defined as for you. Whatever it may be, what are the changes that you're currently feeling right now? How are you shifting your thoughts right now? If you want to share down below, feel free. But this is a time where you're going to be a little bit different. You're going to feel very different. And I want you to know that it's completely normal. And there might be times where you feel kind of enticed to go back to those limiting beliefs, but I want you to keep going with it, because your new self, your conscious higher self, is wanting you to expand. And this is very important for you to continue to grow in areas that you cannot, like so many amazing areas that right now is just going to be amazing. So just shift your thoughts right now. That's really what you're focusing on, and you're changing those beliefs. Number 3, once your beliefs start to change, you start to have questions. What exactly is manifestation? How does it work? How do I manifest someone? How do I just believe that a thought becomes a thought? How do I know what love is? I haven't dated in so long. How do I know what money is? You know, how do I start this job in creative as opposed to being a doctor or something more traditional? Those questions start to come up. And also, like, another thing too is if you've gone through traumas, I've had all of this baggage that I've had that was unlocked as a child because I never had time to process that, and that is okay. I want to tell you guys, this is completely okay, because sometimes we don't have someone telling us, right? That no one's telling us that that's okay to honor our emotions, to release our emotions. So here with number 3, it's talking about answering the questions. We start to seek, we start to ask things, we start to question, we start to make sense of all the new beliefs and thoughts that we've been having. We start to continue with this. And you know, there's 2 things that can happen at this stage. We either embrace it, or we get frustrated along the way because maybe we don't have the tools. Like, I know one of my biggest things through my spiritual awakening is the friends that I had. They were amazing, and it was hard to talk to them about these spiritual, deep level things about consciousness and 5G and quantum physics and all these things, because they couldn't talk about that. And you are elevating on a cellular level. At this point, you're transforming. You're a different person, and that's fine. So there's this sense of identity that you kind of get to feel a little bit. You feel like at this point you're plateauing. And I was saying this to one of you guys who actually messaged me about this. You're feeling this plateau of like, I don't know if I can do this. You feel this lack of, oh my gosh, like, who am I? I'm so different now. But you are who you are. You've just elevated into this higher, different conscious self of yourself. And that's just you being you. And just know that as we start to expand ourselves, we grow, we learn, we change, and we also evolve. And the only difference with this spiritual awakening, every time you go through it, you get closer and closer to your higher and deeper self. So here, you're getting answers, you're seeking them out, and you're really understanding, why am I going through this spiritual awakening? What's going on? What are these beliefs? What are my next steps? Number 4, you start to break through. This is your time to shine. Your vibration's feeling good. You are dancing and celebrating because you've never felt this good. I always think of the woke meme when people look back at like pictures of them 4 years ago and they're saying, that was me. That was who I was. That was my conscious higher self, right? So I'm sure you've had pictures where you go through your albums or on Facebook or whatever, and you're like, that was me? Oh my gosh, no. There's no way that was me. So I want you guys to understand that when we're talking about, the steps of this, at this point, you're feeling lighter. You're feeling amazing. You're starting to create new relationships. You're starting to seek out the things that feel good to you and your energy at that time. You start to feel evolved and you're starting to look for more growth. You might start to notice that you start to ask for more answers of things and start to learn. At this point, you're just fully embracing everything and you're looking back saying, man, I'm so happy I did this. I'm so happy I went through this experience. Even though that trauma was crazy, even though, that divorce didn't go well, even though breaking up with that person didn't go well, even though it was so hard to speak my truth, all of those emotions and examples, at the end of the day, I can say at this point, I can accept it. I forgive myself. I love myself. And this was meant to happen. Okay, so now that you know the steps of a spiritual awakening, the next part that we're going to go into is, how do you know if you're going through a spiritual awakening? Through these signs. And I wrote down 7 to 8 signs that I feel are the best that me personally, I have experienced. I know other amazing spiritual souls have as well. I know you have, and intuitively, and I think it is going to help you out so much. So the first thing is deeper connection with yourself and humanity. You just feel this deep connection of who you are. You feel this sense of like belonging, and you don't know how to explain. Maybe this is the first time that you've ever felt this real to yourself. Maybe this is the first time that you've ever honored who you are deep inside, as opposed to putting walls in front of you. And humanity, because when we're going through this spiritual awakening, one of the biggest emotions that starts to expand in our heart space is just ultimate gratitude, ultimate unconditional love that we feel, these waves of unconditional love to everything. You might want to start to volunteer more. You might want to start to help people. You start to giving more because you feel so good, and you go based on your energy because you feel so enlightened. So one of the big things is deeper connection with who you truly are, whether this is the first time or this is the first time in a very long time. Number 2, letting go and just releasing the things you've been attached to. Perhaps a toxic relationship that happened a long time ago that you never really had time to process. And this is the first time that you have been able to. Perhaps that, feeling of trauma or experience that happened as a child, as a teen, as a few years ago, a couple of years ago, recently, that has happened, and you just, it's been in you. It's been held in your throat chakra. It's been held in your body, and you just energetically feel like this burden. The spiritual awakening allows you to be your true authentic self. So here it's forcing you energetically to release and let go what doesn't align with you anymore. And you will find this is pretty common. This symptom is really common when you're getting to seek answers, because as you start to seek answers, you start to notice, wait, I need to let go of this, because if I don't let go of this, this is going to hold me back. So again, this is one of the most important parts. You start to let go of things that don't serve you. You might start to notice friendships, relationships, people, things. You don't tolerate it as much. You're now focusing on, what does my energy feel good? And people will consider this as the low energetic word of selfish, but this is self-care. You are taking care of yourself so you can be 100% every time you need to. You can be 100% whenever you need to go 100%, and you can feel good. You can feel good because you can't pour out of an empty cup. If there's none of your energy within you, you're starting to understand that you can't pour out of that. So that spiritual awakening is teaching you that, what do I need to do based on the experience that has happened, that has triggered this spiritual awakening, or even created this spiritual awakening on a more higher energetic word, that has allowed me to bring me here? And how can I build on that? How can I really allow myself to do some spring cleaning so I can have more room in my life for everything that is abundantly and truly divinely mine? Number 3, things are starting to resonate more than they used to before. How many people that have told me that are going through a spiritual awakening Shika, I was never spiritual before. Shika, I knew I was, but I never really I was the same thing. I was pretty in a spiritual family as well. And when I was a young kid, had a lot of spiritual gifts. I still do, but they were there since I was young. And then when I got into society, in this masculine energy society that we live in, I just kind of lost it. I felt like it was not me, and I felt different. And that's one of the things, you're starting to resonate with things a little bit more. You might start to, pick up a book on law of attraction here or there, or the power of now, or Abraham Hicks, or start to talk a little bit more about manifestation. You might start to, maybe meditate. You might start to perhaps pray, like whatever it is. You're starting to get more connected with yourself. You're finding something that is evolving your beliefs that allow you to bring you back here, bring you back into the state of being, bring you back to who you truly authentically are. And there are things that are resonating that weren't. There could also be the emotion of anger, annoyance, or other emotion, pain that didn't allow you to change your perspective. And that's one of the beauties of the spiritual awakening. It forces you to change your perspective because of this experience, because of this event, whether it's good or bad. So understand that the biggest growth that you get out of this is understanding that you can truly respond and really resonate with things. And in doing that, that allows you to be a more open vessel to energy, open conscious vessel to so much more. Number 4, your intuition starts to peak. How many times do I say every single time that my intuitive gifts just started to peak like crazy? I became more clairvoyant. I started to feel things so much. I started to feel more connected. I started to just know things. I started to not doubt myself on decisions. I just knew, yep, that's the one. I started to feel this fiery energy that I'm finally having this confidence within me. And this is usually the time when you're breaking through stage. This is the 4th stage. When you're breaking through in the spiritual awakening, you will start to notice your intuition is going to peak. And it just keeps feeding even after the spiritual awakening. You also may start to notice this when you are answering questions. You start to notice that the questions that you're answering, you start to get confirmation. And things like, signs of your manifestation coming. I have a video on that, which is 6 signs that your manifestations are coming based on your spirit guides. If you want to go check that out, I'll link that here. But always knowing that there are signs coming up, angel numbers or feelings, or people say things that just resonate. Your intuition is peaking, and you're getting more connected to all dimensions in your higher conscious self, as well as all aspects of who you are. Number 5, major synchronicities. Things are happening quickly, one after the other. And it's almost like when you say, I want water, it comes up right in front of you, right? There's just so many synchronicities when you're going through a spiritual awakening that you start to think you're going crazy. And this is where answering and asking questions come through. You start to ask a question, what's going on? Why am I having these crazy experiences? They're not crazy. They are just you synchronizing with your energy and in the universe and your guides and spirit, and just really connecting with yourself. Now, when you're synchronized, you start to notice that jobs will open, doors will open, many doors will open, maybe jobs, relationships, things, the right friendships. You start to create a soul family, people who can connect with you on that deep level. This is one of my favorite parts of the spiritual awakening. There's nothing more rewarding than being able to just check in and say, oh, I'm really connected with myself and connected with the people that I put my energy out to. So my friends, my family, and so on. So major synchronicities will happen. And don't be, too wilded out if you end up seeing a lot of angel numbers everywhere you go. Number 6, ego death. I want to kind of talk about this a little bit because I have a lot of friends who have gone through this, a lot of people that I know. And if you probably either did plant medicine, or you've gone through a very traumatic experience, or you're healing and doing shadow work, this is a common thing. What ego death is our shadow self has our ego. So everything that feeds off of pleasures, past experiences, it goes in the sense of a different energy from our light high self. And the shadow self and the ego self, a lot of people sometimes when they're going through their spiritual awakening go through ego death. And what ego death means is their ego no longer exists. They see everything from a compassionate humanitarian scene. They see everyone connected to them. They feel connected, and we're all interconnected whether we have met or not, right guys? Our family here is connected, but you're also connected with people that you don't even know. And it's just the way that the energy works. We are all energy. We are all connected, just like electricity. That's just the way it works. So ego death is, a lot of people who go through ego death, they go through a huge belief transformation, because now they're understanding that it's not about me, it's about other people. And I find a lot of people who tend to be in positions where it's always about them, they actually get this shift of energy where it's like, oh wait, no, it's not all about me, it's about other people too. And that to them is a hard pill to swallow. You know, it's a hard thing to swallow. So this is usually the starting stages. This is when, you know, you start to feel unhappy, you start to shift your thoughts, you're going through, that's the main predominant areas of the ego death. And I'd love to do a video on this because this is super important. I actually have a very great, amazing surprise series that I can't wait to share with you guys coming up in the next 6 months, fingers crossed. So yeah, pray for me, put out intention for me, because I can't wait for that. But this is one of the biggest parts. So if you've currently went through that where you just feel or had a dream about you dying or something that you feel like you've gotten close to that, you go through this ego death and you notice that, wait, life is more than just about me. It's so much more, and we're so interconnected, and there's so many dimensions. You go through this huge reveal within yourself and other people. You start to want to quit certain things in your life. Major spring cleaning. So things such as a job, a relationship, a lot of things, you start to release those beliefs. And I want you to know that no matter what time has gone through with this committing decision or relationship that you have, the part of the spiritual awakening is to show you things that were already there in a different light, to change your perspective. So if you feel this inclination to want to remove certain things, know that that is part of the process, and that's completely fine. Another thing I would love to say is just be true to yourself and know that the spiritual awakening, the purpose of it is to unveil what was once and always there, but has to be reminded to you and is part of your soul journey. I do truly believe that with spiritual awakenings, it's meant to happen at a time that you need a huge transitional point to either put you back on your path or to give you a deeper understanding of what your soul path is. So I'd love to share, or for you guys to share down below, what is your soul telling you to do? What is your soul journey? What are you meant to do in this lifetime? Comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed all of the tips that I went over, very thorough, on how you know if you're going through a spiritual awakening and what things to look out for when you're going through a spiritual awakening. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, as well as put notification bell so you don't miss a video. I do videos every single day for you beautiful, amazing souls. And if you also want more meditations, energy healing, don't forget to join our VIP Conscious Souls on Patreon or to support the channel. I truly do appreciate it. I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, so much positivity, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.